The camera pans over a quiet forest trail, sunlight flickering through the leaves. Suddenly, a soft cry pierces the still air. A man, rugged and tired, carrying a small backpack and holding the hand of a young girl, stops dead in his tracks. His eyes widen as he stares ahead. Tied to a tree, with rusted chains cutting into her pale wrists, is a woman in a torn wedding dress. Her eyes meet his. They're swollen from crying, but still burning with something stronger than fear, hope. Narrator voice: what would you do, if your morning hike turned into the darkest moment of someone else's life? This is the story of Daniel, a single father just trying to make it through another day, and the mysterious bride who would change everything. Chapter 1, The Lonely Trail. Daniel Pierce was not the kind of man who sought out adventure. He was a man who once had everything: a loving wife, a steady job, a future mapped out with confidence. But life didn't ask before it took things from him. 2 years ago, a drunk driver stole his wife away, leaving him with their 6-year-old daughter, Ellie. Now, every weekend, Daniel took Ellie on hikes. Not because he enjoyed it, he didn't, but because it was the only thing that seemed to make her smile anymore. She missed her mom. And Daniel? He missed the man he used to be. That Sunday morning was supposed to be like any other. Ellie wanted to explore a new trail in a deeper part of the forest. Daniel reluctantly agreed. They packed sandwiches and juice boxes and set off. They never expected to find a woman chained to a tree in the middle of nowhere. Chapter 2, The Bride. She looked like something out of a nightmare, or a movie. Her wedding dress was soaked in dirt and blood, torn at the seams. Her ankles were scraped raw. The chains binding her hands to the trunk were old but locked tight. Daniel rushed forward instinctively, shielding Ellie behind him. "Please," the woman whispered. "Don't leave me here." Her name was Marissa. She had been kidnapped. And the man who did it was supposed to marry her. Chapter 3, Truth in the Woods. It took everything in Daniel not to panic. He didn't know what kind of danger they were in, or if the man who did this was still nearby. But he couldn't walk away. Using the mini multi-tool he kept in his bag, he managed to pry the lock open with trembling fingers. Marissa collapsed into his arms. They made it back to the car, Daniel constantly looking over his shoulder. He drove straight to the police. But Marissa begged him not to. "He's a cop," she said. "He'll find me again. He always does." The station was small. If she was telling the truth, no place in town was safe for her. Chapter 4, Shelter. Daniel had every reason to walk away. He barely had space in his own life for the grief he carried. But as Ellie offered Marissa her favorite blanket that night, wrapping her up on the couch in their tiny apartment, Daniel knew there was no going back. For the next few weeks, Marissa stayed with them. Hidden. She told them everything: how she met Craig on a dating app. How he was charming and kind, until he wasn't. How he isolated her from her family, controlled every part of her life, and when she tried to leave on the wedding day, he snapped. No one believed her. No one helped. Until Daniel. Chapter 5, The Storm. But danger doesn't wait quietly. One night, Daniel returned home from work to find the door wide open. Ellie was safe, Marissa had hidden her in the bathroom. But there were signs someone had been there. A wedding band sat on the kitchen table. Marissa's. He was coming. Daniel had never been brave. But the moment he saw his daughter clutching Marissa's hand, something changed. He called an old friend, a detective he trusted, one of the few good ones. They set a trap. It wasn't easy. It wasn't safe. But it worked. Craig was arrested. This time, Marissa's voice was heard. Chapter 6, Healing. In the aftermath, life didn't magically fix itself. Ellie still missed her mother. Daniel still worked long hours and came home exhausted. Marissa had to face the trauma that nearly broke her. But slowly, a new rhythm formed. Marissa got a job at a local bakery. Ellie adored her, and Daniel, he found himself smiling again. Real smiles. There was laughter in the house now. And love, the kind that's patient, and kind, and earned. Final chapter, what happens next? A year later, Daniel stood in the same forest trail. Ellie, now 7, raced ahead. Marissa held his hand. They stopped under the same tree. No chains this time. Just flowers. Marissa placed a single white lily against the bark. "We survived," she whispered. Daniel turned to her, took a deep breath, and got down on one knee. Not to rescue her, but to ask her to stay. Ending message. This isn't just a story about a man finding a woman in the woods. It's about trauma, courage, and healing. About how broken people can become each other's safe place. Sometimes, family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up when the world leaves you behind. If you're in a dark place, don't give up. There's always someone who's willing to help. And maybe, just maybe, the best chapter of your life is still ahead.